No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for March the 3rd, 2022. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. And of course, shout out to the early birds, Psycho Jet Black, Luis Ortiz, Walter Cruz, CC Drink, and Hamp Connell, who sent in $5. Thank you for that, Hamp. Much appreciated. Says, before we get started, how am I supposed to believe that an appearance is unscheduled if it conveniently happens right before a commercial break? You're doing too much thinking there, Hamp. You cannot do that with WWE programming, and we'll get to that more here in just a few moments. We kicked off SmackDown with the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and part of the bloodline, no Jey Uso out there, just Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Paul Heyman. Reigns said his acknowledge me line, but then Cody Rhodes quickly interrupted. Cody came to the ring. Cody said he's not there to invade. He just wants to have a conversation man to man with the tribal chief and wondered if Roman Reigns needed the bloodline to be there. Reigns said he did not. He sent the bloodline to the back and then asked the question that Cody always asks, so what do you want to talk about? Cody said it's been 950 days since Roman Reigns won the Universal title. It seems like an impossible mountain to climb. But Cody is somebody that does these types of things. He climbs mountains. People said he would be nothing more than Randy Orton's understudy. People said that he would never get past Stardust. People said that 10,000 people would never show up to watch Cody and his buddies at an indie show, which of course was a reference to All In back in 2018, but Cody did not use the term All In, did make a reference to it, however. And Reigns had a chance to respond, said that Cody has never held a world title, never main evented WrestleMania. Reigns brought up how he's been groomed by people over the years, including Dusty Rhodes, Cody's dad. Reigns said that, according to Dusty, Reigns had it. Reigns did a little Dusty impression, but then noted that Dusty never said anything about Cody in Roman's presence. It's like Cody did not exist. And Reigns brought up how he misses Dusty just like Cody. And if there's anything that Dusty did not teach Cody, Reigns will teach it to Cody at WrestleMania. Now, Cody's response, Roman offered a handshake, by the way. Cody's response was that this has become a necessity to him. He has to exist by beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and may the better man win. Cody shook hands with Roman Reigns, and for now, it's all about respect. No bloodline attack, just a shake of the hands, and we move forward for now. This was a very good segment. I enjoyed it. Both guys played their roles very well. Crowd was into it. So far, so good with these guys. Nice start to this storyline, and we still got more to come. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $3.07 super chat. Thank you for that, Caleb. Caleb says, I feel like Cody Rhodes is winning at WrestleMania 915. 915 days. Is that what Reigns is at right now? I'm still torn. I feel like it could go either way. Because Roman is so close to 1,000, I can always see them making the argument, well, Reigns is close. We might as well have Cody chase a little bit more. Would not shock me. And Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, how will you win DC and not announce Batista for the Hall of Fame? Man, I don't know what's going on with the Hall of Fame. Apparently it's still on, but we're now about a month away until WrestleMania, and there has been zero talk, zero announcements regarding the Hall of Fame. Like, what's going on here? If Batista's going in, like, shouldn't you be hyping it up? I guess they feel like because they're doing SmackDown the same night and SmackDown's going to sell the tickets, they don't need to really promote the Hall of Fame. But it's just weird to me. Like, why not hype it up? Very bizarre. And I wonder if something happened with Batista and they just don't have a top guy. I don't know what's going on here. It's really bizarre. But yeah, this would have been the perfect place to do it. Batista's hometown, Washington, D.C., sold out crowd, 15,000 people, and nothing. We had our first match of the evening, which was Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Liv went right after Rhea, took the fight to her. Rhea eventually got the upper hand, did some trash talking. Liv, who's Leah? Liv went for a dive, but she ended up crashing and burning on the floor, but did start to build up some momentum after the commercial break. She came off the top with double knees to the face. That looked pretty cool, but Rhea kicked out of it. And then Liv went up top again, but this time she was caught, hit with a power bomb, and then Rhea put on the riptide and then applied a cloverleaf submission, and Liv tapped out. Match was fine. I mean, it was a showcase for Rhea Ripley. She got the clean win, which is a nice touch. I mean, I know people are upset about Liv, and in fact, there was one little girl, they got a camera shot of it. This little girl was in tears because Liv Morgan lost. But that's exactly what you need. You need to build up Rhea Ripley as a dominant heel challenger for Charlotte Flair. So this was well done. Liv Morgan had her time, but right now it's all about Rhea Ripley, building her up, and this was effective. So good segment here. And backstage, we had Roman Reigns talking to Jimmy about Jay. Jimmy said Jay just has a hot head, needs time, and Reigns said, how much time? He's running out of patience. He's losing patience with Jay, and he's losing patience with Jimmy. So Jimmy said he'll try to talk to Jay one more time. And then backstage, we had a confrontation. Basically, Santos Escobar was challenging Dominic to a match, which Dominic did accept, but Dominic brought out Rhea Ripley with him. And Santos had Rey Mysterio's mask in the corner of the ring and yelled at Dominic, do you respect your legacy? Which Dominic apparently does not. Dominic got the upper hand for a while, teased a 619, but did not do it, and told Santos that Santos should respect him. Santos started to make a comeback, and the referee was distracted. Dominic grabbed a pair of brass knucks, and then that's when Rhea Ripley hit the riptide to Santos on the floor, threw Santos back in the ring. Dominic went up top, hit the frog splash, and got the 1-2-3 victory. And after the match, Dominic started ripping the mask that Rey Mysterio gave to Santos Escobar. Rey Mysterio came out there, and Dominic once again dared Rey to hit him. Rey did not. Dominic dropped the mask on the ground and then took a cheap shot at Rey and left him laying. Another good angle here. They're slowly building up the moment. We all know it's coming. It's going to be great. And by the way, I apologize if this live stream suddenly ends because we're in the middle of what they call a thunder snow storm in Michigan. The weather has been has been rough outside, and power actually went out a couple of times. I should have used my phone's hotspot for this, but I did not. So again, I apologize if this stream suddenly cuts out. Now, Walter Cruz sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, with the first segment alone, SmackDown was better than Raw and Dynamite for that matter. Also, Liv lost a lot of momentum. Please like and share this video. Say yes to no DQ. Hashtag stick to my shtick. Yeah, Liv lost the momentum, but at the end of the day, I think that was bound to happen. Like, they were booking her as a fluke champion from the get-go, which was a problem in my opinion. And they pushed her so quickly too. Like, instead of slowly building her up, all of a sudden she wins Money in the Bank, wins the title, and it just felt very rushed and forced. Although the crowd was into it, I think they should have spent more time building her up instead of just putting the Money in the Bank on her and having her win right away, and then having her win basically as a fluke champion. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Rey and Escobar versus Priest and Dominic. They could do that, but I think a one-on-one match is stronger at this point. That is certainly a possibility, though, and Damian Priest has no clear path to WrestleMania. Would not shock me if they did that, but I still think the one-on-one match would be more intriguing personally. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Psycho. Says, Dominic versus Rey should be a hair versus mask. Wow, this is going a little crazy here. Is Bray Wyatt hijacking the video? I'm not sure what the hell is going on here, but I was thinking they might do something like that, where the mask is on the line and it could potentially be Rey's retirement match. Rey puts the mask on the line. I mean, that would be a great stipulation if Rey was going to retire and pass the torch to Dominic. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. Says, Dominic should just lose his last name. It's the one time dropping the last name would actually make sense. He doesn't respect the legacy. Why keep the name? I was always thinking like Dominic should come out there and say that he's no longer a Mysterio. He's going to use the last name of his real father, Eddie Guerrero, and start calling himself Dominic Guerrero. I think that would get a lot of heat, but I could see some people being offended by that. And I don't know if they actually would ever go through with something like that. But I would love that. D. Martin 5th sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, whatever happened to Legado del Fantasma? Yeah, this was a very random babyface turn for Santos. And I was thinking at first, is this a swerve? And Santos is going to double cross Rey Mysterio. And that could still happen. But yeah, it's quite odd that all of a sudden Legado del Fantasma has seemingly split up. Santos is a babyface. Zelina and the others are nowhere to be seen. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I suppose we could still see a swerve at some point, but time will tell on that one. We had Drew McIntyre come into the ring, and he brought up how there's 4 weeks until WrestleMania, and he does not have a match. He said that he wants to be the guy that beats the schnitzel out of Gunther. He called out Gunther for WrestleMania, but Sheamus interrupted. Sheamus was not happy because Sheamus told McIntyre he wants the WrestleMania match. He wants his revenge. And Drew knew this and went out there and challenged Gunther anyways. Sheamus said that he wanted the match, and he felt like he was betrayed by somebody he felt was his brother. And McIntyre was like, he doesn't need Sheamus's permission to get a title match. And furthermore, Sheamus has already lost not once but twice. Sheamus called McIntyre a backstabbing bastard, and that's when LA Knight showed up. LA Knight got a big pop, by the way, so thankfully the pitch black match did not kill his heat and kill his momentum with the fans. New Day showed up, so it became one of those segments, everybody interrupting one after another. And Kofi started making fun of LA Knight wanting, basically begging for a WrestleMania moment. Then Karrion Kross showed up. LA Knight took a cheap shot. Big brawl broke out with everybody. Sheamus and McIntyre had a face-off. McIntyre went to the outside with a dive onto several people. And then Karrion Kross laid out Sheamus and was the last man standing. Now, what does this all mean? Well, it was later announced that next week there will be a 5-way match with the winner getting the Intercontinental title shot at WrestleMania. And Gunther was interviewed backstage. He was pissed off. He was blasting Adam Pearce. He's getting impatient. He wants to know his WrestleMania opponent, and they did confirm a 5-way for next week. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, if Vicky is okay with it, Dominic should be a Guerrero. Oh, I would love it. I mean, that would get so much heat, and that would just be another insult to Rey Mysterio. And people would just despise Dominic all the more. Everyone's really invested in this storyline, and they're doing a great job with it. And this slow build, Rey, Dominic, it's going to be great. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Says, when is Dominic going to tell Rey to toss his salad and peel his potatoes? Well, that might be gimmick infringement. That was Conan's old phrase back in WCW. But hey, maybe Dominic will pick up that line. Maybe he'll watch an old episode of Nitro and he'll call up Conan and get the okay for it. Time will tell on that one. And I'm glad that they're doing the 5-way, by the way, because I was scared that they were going to say, oh, we're doing like a 6-way ladder match for the IC title, which would have been a huge letdown. Gunther should be really in a one-on-one match, but you know what? If they do the 3-way, I'm all for it because there's definitely that heat with Sheamus and McIntyre. And I was really liking the segment until all the others came out there. So they could definitely pull that off with the triple threat. And maybe there is something like a double pin next week. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Says, maybe they're saving Rey hitting Dominic for WrestleMania. Well, you have to set up the match. So I think like you have to do that before WrestleMania just to confirm that the match is going to happen. I could see it happening on the go-home show or maybe a week before, but definitely milk it for a couple more weeks. But you gotta do that as the big angle to set up the match where it's finally going to happen. We had Bobby Lashley. Well, wait, before we get to Bobby Lashley, Shayna Baszler versus Tegan Nox, which was supposed to be a tag team match, but I guess there was a brawl and Ronda Rousey had her arm in a sling. I'm not sure if she's legitimately hurt, but I'm sure something will come out about that if it's true. It was weird, though, that they advertised the tag match and changed it. So I wonder if Ronda is legitimately hurt. It was basically a squash, too, because Tegan Nox fought a little bit, but yeah, Shayna just targeted the arm and then hit a knee to the face and picked up the win with a submission. Not much to say about it. Very basic, almost a total squash match here with Shayna Baszler picking up the win. And then we had Bobby Lashley showing up, and as Hamp mentioned earlier, Bobby Lashley's surprise appearance, but he shows up just before the commercial break. What great timing by Bobby Lashley. And he said that he was on SmackDown to call out Bray Wyatt. He's tired of the games. And then we had Uncle Howdy's music hit. Uncle Howdy with a sneak attack to Bobby Lashley. and we had a very familiar voice doing a little bit of laughing. But then Bobby Lashley fought back, lights went out, and Uncle Howdy escaped. Segment was kind of lame, and I'm still not feeling this match. And if it's true that Brock Lesnar turned down a Bray Wyatt match, well, I do not blame him at this point. And people on Twitter are like, man, the internet has turned against Bray Wyatt so quickly. They're so fickle. And go back to what I said in September and October, because I flat out said, if this Bray Wyatt return is going to work, he needs to be a new version of Bray Wyatt. He needs to evolve. We need to see what he can do in the ring. He needs to be a bit more realistic. So what do? They go back to the same old shit. That is why people have crapped on Bray Wyatt, because it's the same old gimmick. The pitch black match was just what we saw before. The poor lighting, they're just doing smoke and mirrors. He's not actually getting in the ring and doing matches. They're doing the Firefly Funhouse again. They're doing the comedy. Like, I wanted to see a different Bray Wyatt, like a more realistic Bray Wyatt. And they blew it. It's fallen flat. And Uncle Howdy was real intimidating, and now he's almost like a comic relief. It's like Bo Dallas wearing a mask. Like, I thought Uncle Howdy would be way more intimidating at this point. So yeah, it's really disappointing in my opinion. And is Bray Wyatt a heel? Is he a face? Like this whole split personality thing was kind of cool at the beginning, but what is it now? Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, seriously, what were the original plans for Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania if it wasn't Lashley or Lesnar, or maybe WWE didn't even plan ahead for it? Honestly, I don't think they really knew, because Brock Lesnar was rumored to be fighting Steve Austin, and Steve Austin turned it down. And there was apparently talk of doing the Gunther match, which would have been great, but that didn't happen either. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what they were thinking for Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I mentioned this a while back, like Damian Priest. Damian Priest has no WrestleMania match. He kind of has like that dark supernatural like character a little bit. Damian Priest versus Bray Wyatt, I think, would have been a lot more fitting than Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley or even Brock Lesnar. But thank you for the super chat. And Mike B sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Mike B. He says, just a super chat for poops and giggles. Is the beloved Rambling Rabbit the son of Bad Bunny and the Bunny? Give some treats to Casey and Sassy. Well, thank you for that. And the cats are doing good, so appreciate you asking about them or bringing them up, checking in on them, whatever. Rambling Rabbit could very well be the son of Bad Bunny. And if Vince Russo was still writing WWE television, it would probably be an angle on Raw or SmackDown. Bad Bunny would, since the Bunny's in AEW, they would have to come up with something else, but maybe Bad Bunny would have a relationship with one of Adam Rose's sidekicks, and they'd have a baby, and it would be Rambling Rabbit. We had our last segment here, which was Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa. But before the match got going, Jimmy Uso did get in touch with Jay, and Jay just wants to be left the hell alone. Roman was really upset at this point, said that maybe Jey Uso being selfish and greedy all comes from Sami Zayn. And Roman had a request. He wanted Jimmy out there for the match and wanted Jimmy to get rid of Sami Zayn, because then maybe Jey will come home. Once Jimmy and Solo left for the ring, Roman Reigns told Paul Heyman that Jey Uso has 1 week to return to the bloodline. And if he doesn't, maybe Roman Reigns is going to blame Jimmy instead of Sami Zayn for Jay being conflicted. We had the match. Sami Zayn went right after Solo. Jimmy Uso was trying to interfere. Sami did a dive onto both guys. Solo eventually got the upper hand, threw Sami Zayn into the ring post repeatedly, and then after the break, did the hip attack. Sami Zayn did make a comeback, hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, and got the 1-2-3 victory to win the match. I'm kidding. You guys know this by now. Never wins. Will never win, except for that one time that it did. Will not happen again. Lightning will not strike twice. Jimmy Uso ended up interfering again, and he ultimately helped Solo pick up a win. Solo hit the Solo spike and scored the 1-2-3 victory. Afterwards, the attack continued. They wrapped the chair around Sami's neck, and Jimmy wanted to deliver the final blow to take out Sami Zayn, but because he wanted to do it, there was a brief moment of hesitation or a time for Sami Zayn to recuperate, which he did. He fought back. He hit Jimmy with the haluva kick and managed to escape through the crowd. Roman Reigns was watching, and he was very unhappy. So, yeah, Jey Uso has one more week. And as to why they dragged out this storyline, because we all thought this week was going to be Jey Uso showing up and we were going to see the big moment, but this did not happen. Now, why? Well, I think maybe WWE decided to put Cody on the show, and, that combined with all the Jey Uso stuff would have been too much. So they went with Cody as the main Roman Reigns segment, and they're saving the Jey storyline for next week's show. Little interesting why they decided to do that. Why not just put Roman Reigns on Raw to confront Cody? But I guess they wanted Cody to show up on SmackDown since Roman is scared or whatever, or doesn't want to appear on Raw, so Cody has to come to Roman's show. I get that idea, but still, it was a little odd that they're waiting one more week for it, but it is what it is. It's going to be next week, apparently. And we'll see what happens when Jey Uso seemingly returns to SmackDown and makes a decision. So that was SmackDown, everybody. Good show. I thought it was very solid. Not one of my all-time favorites, but I would say it was the best show of the week. The segment with Cody was very strong. And all in all, solid build-up for WrestleMania. I'm still looking forward to next week more. Once again, this felt like more of a show that was trying to set up next week's show for big angles. Jey Uso, that's what I'm waiting for. And the Intercontinental title qualifying matches next week. So next week feels like it's going to be a bigger deal. This week was more about setting up next week. But still, good show, solid B. Thank you all for watching tonight. Much appreciated. I got through it without the power going out. It was flickering a little bit, but we got through it. So happy about that. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And don't forget, NoDQ.com will have live coverage of AEW Revolution, and Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, a special Saturday night edition of the No DQ review. I'm sure we'll talk more about everything going on with the Bloodline, Bray Wyatt. Tune in for that. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.